Hola amigos. A woman was sent to the emergency department after 30 minutes of having sex with her partner, with severe itching all over her body, continuous vomiting, and shortness of breath. This is what happened to her body. This case happened in March 2019 in Spain. Later it was studied and issued from the Spanish hospital to BMJ, the British Medical Journal, and today I will be presenting it. And yes, the girl presenting in the video is me, but I mainly do Arabic videos, that's why I'm doing a voiceover. But however, if we get to 100k on this channel, I will record it in English language, so you might as well press the subscribe button. Michelle, 31 years of age, was preparing for a wonderful day full of activities for her and her husband, celebrating their 3rd anniversary. Her husband made sure to reserve in one of the fanciest restaurants in the city, and she made a fun plan of how they are gonna spend their day. And yes, indeed, they had a wonderful day. At the end of the day, they went home, watched some movies, she did some cleaning, and then they went to sleep. The ambient was really very suitable for a sexual intercourse. But after 30 minutes of finishing, Michelle had a strange feeling. She had a strong nausea and she had itching all over her body. After that, every nausea ended in strong vomiting. Her husband was really concerned but was frightened when he looked at her and he started to see how her lips are swollen, her ears, her eyelids are swollen, and things were going even worse when she looked at him and told him, "I cannot breathe." Under panic, he rushed to his 1-year-old daughter. He handed her to his neighbors and rushed with his wife to the hospital, to the emergency room. From the moment she stepped into the emergency room, the doctors were aware of her symptoms and directly injected her with an epinephrine pen because it was obvious she is having an anaphylaxis, which is a strong allergy reaction. And my amigo, the anaphylaxis is so dangerous that it can end a life in very short time. And let me tell you, there's a huge difference between normal allergy and the anaphylaxis, the strongest form of allergy. To understand it more, the allergy is formed when our body reacts to a foreign component. It's like our body see a subject and label it as a foreign body. It simply doesn't like it. So our body reacts against it, even if this body is not necessarily dangerous. So our body and immune system enters into a defensive state and gets worried and confused by the presence of this foreign component. And it starts with making a plan to how to get rid of it. In this process, the signs and symptoms of allergy happen. And these signs and symptoms are presented by itchiness, by redness, sometimes swollen area, and it's all just a way of the body telling us that it doesn't like this component. That's why every time I'm exposing myself to this allergen, it will cause again the same signs and symptoms. And this allergen could really be anything. It's not just about drugs. It could be on food, it could be because of a perfume, because of a fruit, even leaves of a certain plant, even a certain laundry product could cause allergy. All of what I described is the normal allergy, the one that is annoying but controlled with an antihistamine tablet. And almost every one of us have some kind of allergy on something. Now, to come to anaphylaxis, it's a really serious and over-exaggerated response from our body to a foreign component. Not only our body gets stressed and worried, it goes crazy over this foreign component. Now, the signs and symptoms here are really different and crazy. The patient might get hives, rash, strong form of dermatological allergies, swollen lips, swollen eyes, swollen face, swollen ears. I think you have seen it before if you're a fan of Will Smith movies. Also numbness in the mouth and the throat. And this kind of strong allergy, we did not reach the point where it's life-threatening. Not yet, my amigo. The true anaphylaxis, in its signs and symptoms, organs of the body contribute to the allergic response. And that's why it's dangerous. Example, like the heart, where we will have palpitations and irregular heartbeat or rapid one. The lungs contribute in the response as well. We will have shortness of breath, continuous cough, and chest pain. And let me tell you that chest pain here have a reputation of making the doctors confused if the patient is having a heart attack or a strong allergic reaction. The patient might as well lose the ability of balance, lose the ability of speech. And this is nearly what happened to Michelle. Now, after some time from the epinephrine pen, Michelle was getting a bit better. So it was time for the doctors to start asking her questions. I mean, they have to know what caused caused this allergy, this anaphylaxis. She and her husband start explaining that she didn't eat any strange food, but the doctors were direct and said that this kind of allergy happens directly after contact of the allergen. So the food they had few hours ago cannot be the reason. And when Michelle and her husband heard this and thought about the last thing they did before coming to the hospital, it was the sexual intercourse. They did not mention it at first because it's a private thing, and thinking that this might not be the cause of any allergic reaction. They have been married for 3 years. It's not the first time they have sex. When they were forced to go into deep details, the doctors understood that there was an oral sex at the end that ended with oral ejaculation, and right away the doctors suspected seminal plasma allergy, which is the kind of allergies that happens after contacting or swallowing the seminal fluid, the semen. Now, this kind of allergy is rare but exists, and it's known for an allergy to form from the proteins inside the seminal fluid. But it was directly ruled out because it's not the first time of oral sex and semen swallowing. One of the doctors asked Michelle if she has took a pill of Amoxicillin, which is an antibiotic, because her personal history mentioned that she has a severe form of allergy on Amoxicillin, discovered ever since she was a child. She denied the use of Amoxicillin tablets. However, she mentioned that her husband is taking it. The doctor asked the husband why he was taking Amoxicillin. He answered he started taking it 4 days ago for treating his ear infection, and the last pill he took was more than 6 hours ago. And here, one of the doctors got a hint of what might cause the anaphylaxis in Michelle. Michelle didn't take the Amoxicillin tablets by mistake. The Amoxicillin, however, was transferred into her body. How exactly? Through the oral sex and seminal swallowing. The onset between the sexual intercourse and the onset of anaphylaxis is the biggest clue. Last time her husband took the Amoxicillin tablet was 6 hours ago, and that is enough time for the Amoxicillin to reach the seminal fluid, even if it was in very small quantities. But however, does the drugs usually reach the seminal fluid? Now we reach the most interesting point of this video. Please do not forget to like the video. Let's keep going. Even though we have very few studies on the amount of drugs that gets concentrated in the semen, and they are all studies according to some antibiotics only, in order to identify what drug molecules can reach the prostate tissues to treat infections in the prostate. However, in the background of these studies, the doctors were able to reach the knowledge that the prostate share in making the seminal fluid by 30% of its component. From this statement, we could conclude that some of the drugs, especially antibiotics like amoxicillin in this specific case, have the ability to reach the prostate tissue, and because the prostate share in making the seminal fluid by 30%, it gives the opportunity to amoxicillin to reach the seminal fluid, again, even if in low quantities and concentration. Keep in mind that allergy could occur on the smallest quantities possible of a certain allergen. What makes a difference is if the person has a mild allergy, or for his luck he has anaphylaxis, a strong kind of allergy. But let me be clear here, it doesn't mean that all the drugs could reach the prostate and therefore end in the seminal fluid. No, there's a lot of factors that play a great role in the ability of any molecule or drug to reach the prostate tissue. The pharmacokinetics, the binding, the molecule size, lipid solubility, all plays a great role. But in this specific case, amoxicillin's main factor of reaching seminal fluid was because it was a weak acid and had a suitable lipid solubility to reach the prostate tissue and therefore reach the seminal fluid. All that happened from oral ejaculation after oral sex. But this is not the only case of allergy after sexual intercourse or because of a sexual intercourse. There are similar studies on drugs like thyroidiazine, vinplastine, and penicillin. All have happened after contact of semen. The literature even records of allergies caused by only kissing, and this kind of allergy is really common in food allergies. At the end, this is the only reported case report of anaphylaxis caused by oral sex, specifically oral ejaculation, and therefore transfer of the allergen component into the mouth and therefore the body. I should highlight the use of condom in order to be protected and safe, but it doesn't apply here. Oral sex does not include a condom. However, if you or your partner have any kind of severe allergy, you should be more cautious, especially in the practice of oral sex. And this was the case for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I hope the new microphone sounds better. Leave a comment if you have any question. I reply to everyone. And this was Allergy. Thank you again, and see you in the next episode.